Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick from MMA Pixels here with Hayley Turner. How you doing, Hayley?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm great. You're 2-1, mixed martial artist. You have a fight coming up, Valor Fighting Challenge 54, January 19th against Christina Ricker. How's training going?
Pretty good. I actually have been sort of switched up my fight camp this time. So usually I train in the evenings for like 3 to 4 hours or so, depending on the day. And then on the weekends I do mornings. But this camp I switched it up and started doing like 2 days in a way. So I do like striking work in the mornings, and then at nights I've been doing like wrestling and jujitsu and that kind of thing. So I've been trying to like kind of spread out the areas that I'm focusing on this time. For my last few camps, I was like, this is only a wrestling camp because I was going against a wrestler and so on. But Christina's a pretty well-rounded fighter, so it's not like one of those I only have to work on striking situations. So I've been putting in a lot. I'd say a lot more work than I usually do for this bout.
Did you do a lot of like film study on her?
Yeah, yeah. I usually do that like whenever I'm first signing or like getting receive the contracts. I look at the footage. I'm not really big on like I don't obsess over it like some of my teammates do. So I usually watch it like 2 or 3 times, just enough to figure out what my strategy is going to be, and then I usually don't look at it anymore.
Okay. You mentioned you ramped it up for this training camp. How long is a typical fight camp for you?
Well, it depends. For me, I've always struggled. Well, I guess my manager has struggled getting me matchups. So when I was an amateur, my camps were like 2 weeks long because they could only get people to accept last minute fights against me. And my pro debut was the longest fight camp that I had. And I think that was like a full 8 weeks for that camp. Then the fight I took after that, I had like 2 weeks. The fight after that, I had a week and a half. So this time I've had like 6 weeks, I think. So almost a full camp. But if I have, if I could have my way, then I would like at least 4 weeks, but preferably eight.
Okay. That's reasonable. I know it
Yeah, I
is.
mean, I'm in the gym constantly anyway. Like even when I don't have a fight scheduled, I don't really have an off season. So it's just the only difference is when I'm in fight camp, like I up the intensity, and usually I don't go with like because I do a lot of teaching and private lessons and stuff too. So I kind of taper those off when I'm in fight camp and switch more to focusing on technique.
Okay. And where do you currently train?
Scorpion Fighting System. It's in Brighton, Michigan.
Who are some of your training partners?
Amanda Bobby Cooper, James David Gray, he's my manager, coach, and also like one of my training partners. Josh Parisian, Alicia Zappatella, Sarah Jones, to name a few. Also Tabitha Watkins, Peyton Becky. We have a lot of atom weight girls, but we don't really have many girls my size. So I find myself going like with some of the other pros, the other guys that are pros, like Danny Berry and a few others. Um, but that's not to say that the atom weights don't get their fair share of me too.
And you fight at bantamweight?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I
This match, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I noticed Christina usually fights at flyweight.
Yeah. So this bout is a catch weight. So we're both coming to 130 instead of 135 or 125. So I think they technically call it like the modified flyweight division, but I
Okay, was that just so that way you
semantics.
guys can fight, or is she
Yeah.
planning on coming up, or are you planning going down?
Uh, I was planning on dropping to flyweight for a period of time, but I had previously fought at 130, and my body like just does not like cutting weight. So I usually walk pretty close to what I fight at, and I intend to keep it that way. So I'm probably going to stick at bantamweight. This might, depending on how this cut goes, it may or may not be my last fight at 130. If it goes well, then it's like if the opportunity is there and it makes sense, then I'm not going to say no. But
Right. Yeah. It seems like it's just a struggle to get a fight.
yeah, yeah, it's also hard for me too. I'm pretty tall for a bantamweight. The average height for a bantamweight for a woman is between like 5'5" and 5'8", and I'm 5'10". So not not many bantamweights. Usually it's easier for shorter people to like lose more weight, but me, I'm like so long and really lean. There's not really much weight for me to lose. So when I go into fight camp, it's like I can lose like 2 or 3 pounds, but that's it.
Right. I mean, really, I think it just depends on the individual. Some people, could
Yeah.
cut 20 pounds and be fine, and others, if they try to cut that 10 pounds, it really messes with them.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I cut my last time, I cut to 130. I started that camp at 150 pounds, so that was quite a jump. But I obviously didn't do that this time because that didn't go so well.
So you live in Michigan, the fight's in Tennessee. When will you be traveling to Tennessee?
We're planning on driving down like super early on Thursday morning, so we'll be there like mid to late afternoon on Thursday. Then the weigh-ins are on Friday, and then the fight's Saturday.
How long of a drive is that?
I think it's 7.5 hours, but given the people that are traveling with me, it'll probably be around 9.
I thought you were going to say shorter.
Oh no, I wish. No, if I were the only one driving and I was going by myself, it would be way faster. I don't believe in stopping
Right.
unless it's an emergency.
Well, they're not going to make you drive, are they?
Oh yeah,
Oh, man.
my car too,
Oh.
but I don't mind. I kind of like driving anyway. Especially like I usually actually drive myself to weigh-ins and to the fights. I don't know, it kind of like helps me clear my head just to have that time, like listen to music, kind of chill out.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine you get probably a lot of anxiety just thinking about it, about the fight coming up.
Yeah, I used to get that way. Like it used to like really stress me out. Now it doesn't really like hit me until the like weigh-ins. And then from weigh-ins until the moment I get in the cage, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why did I even sign up for this? I don't even like fighting. And I think everybody goes through some flavor of that from what I've heard and seen. Like even GSP says he had an interview like before he fought Bisping. And he said that he had horrible performance anxiety. And every time he, got ready to go into the cage, he like almost threw up and his hands would be shaky and he'd be sweating. And he's like, I don't even know why I fight anymore. Like, I don't even want to fight. I don't want to fight. And he'd always tell his coach, like, I'm going to quit. This is my last fight. This is the last time. So.
Yeah, I mean, again, it depends on the individual.
Yeah, 100%.
You just gotta, find what works. If you're lucky enough to find what works for you, then, you could be successful, I guess.
Right.
So who are some of your sponsors or people who are helping you out during this training camp?
So for this camp, my primary sponsor has been DHS Equipment. They manufacture like small machine parts, things of that nature. So like specifically for like construction workers. So if they sell like sanders and mixers, things of that nature. And also Wellawana, they're kind of like an education service trying to kind of like spread the like information and medical benefits of medical marijuana, kind of getting rid of some of that stigma. And Dragon Doe, they sponsored me for a grappling show that I was on a few months ago, and they're continuing to sponsor me. So, but that's it for this camp specifically.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even think about that, but having trouble getting MMA fights, do you do like grappling or any other type of combat sports?
I have been doing grappling. I don't do it as much. It kind of depends on like my schedule and like if there are events near me. I competed in the Michigan Open, which is a gi only tournament in 2016 and won that. And then didn't do any 2017, but did my first no gi competition last year and won that. So, and then I had that grappling tournament. But it was more of like an exhibition than it was an actual competition. So like there were no winners.
Like currently, do you train in the gi or is it just all no gi?
Right now I'm only doing no gi. Just because we used to have a gi program at my gym and then our gi instructor had to move out of state. So we haven't found a gi instructor to replace him. I do go to Magic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Magic BJJ. It's in Lansing, Michigan. I go there like every so often and train in the gi with some of their girls up there. But yeah, primarily now my focus is no gi. I actually started in gi when I started training because the gym that I started at only had gi and nothing else. So I was like, okay, I'll do this thing, this pajama jujitsu. And then when I went to SFS, they were like, what do you mean you've never done no gi? And I was like, I don't know what that means. And now we're here. I now know what no gi means. That's all.
I know you got to travel a little bit. Do you have a lot of friends and family coming, or just mainly your coaches? And
actually, this is probably the most fans of mine that will be making it. So, like my family, my immediate family is coming down. My extended family is coming down. There's a few friends that are coming that live in Tennessee that are coming as well, and then some people I went to school with that are planning on making the drive too. So, hopefully, we'll have a lot of Hailstorm fans.
Yeah, that sounds like you got a lot of support. Is that typical for your fights, or is it just this one?
This one, I don't know why, but I feel like people are more rallying for this one than they have for any of my other fights. The first couple fights I had, I had like a couple people from the gym, and my parents watched it on Facebook. But now they try and make it. My dad has been to like every single fight since like my second fight. He only missed the first one because he was like out of the country. So both of my parents usually make it to both my fights, and then my significant other's parents come usually as well too.
Oh, that's awesome. Where can the fans connect with you on social media?
I'm pretty much on everything except Twitter. I technically have a Twitter, but I don't use it. It's just there to be there. But my Facebook and Instagram, I'm most active on. My Instagram handle is Hales Yeah, HaylsYeah, and my Facebook is Hayley Turner MMA.
Right on. Before I let you go, it's January 2019, beginning of the year. You have a fight coming up. Where do you see yourself as far as MMA 2020?
So my tentative plan is to get signed with Invicta by this year, like a multi-fight contract, not like a single fight contract kind of deal. And then by the end of 2020, I want to be in the UFC.
Right on. I don't know how to ask this. I guess I just have to say my opinion. Do you feel the competition is more in Invicta than UFC?
I think it depends on the weight class. And obviously, you can't compare with the certain divisions that Invicta has versus those that, the UFC does not. But their bantamweight roster currently is actually pretty strong. And I was actually speaking to Invicta last year, before my pro debut about signing with them. But my manager said like, hey, maybe we should get you a few more fights since everyone in Invicta has usually women usually have more than 3 amateur fights before they go pro. So I'm kind of an oddity in that sense. So yeah, he's like, you've not been training very long and you haven't really fought that many times. So maybe let's, get a couple more wins and then we'll talk to them again and go from there. So now that I've gotten, 2 more wins under my belt, I'm going to get another one in a month or a week, a month. Then they're having a card in March that I'm trying to get on, and then we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, I hope to see you on that card. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
But January 19th, Valor Fighting Challenge 54, Christina Ricker, Hayley Turner. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.